morning, the mystery deepens over the fate of that missing Malaysia Airlines flight. The aircraft carrying nearly 240 people disappeared Saturday morning. It was flying from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing, China, when it just vanished. Intense searches over the weekend have failed to produce a single trace of the jetliner. Joining me now to talk about the investigation is Todd McGhee, managing partner at the security training firm Protecting the Homeland Innovations. Todd, thanks a lot. What a mystery here. We're 48 hours into this, and nothing, not a trace has been found of this plane. How does a jetliner simply vanish?
Bob, anytime we hear any type of an incident impacting our transportation sector, our heart skips a beat. As the search and rescue efforts continue on this, what's really going to bring into focus is the fact that these two passports and these two missing individuals on this particular flight.
Yeah, let's talk about the passports. So we got two people that were on this plane who were using passports that were stolen I think at the same time, and the tickets were bought at the same time. On the surface, it looks very suspicious. But does it necessarily mean that this plane was brought down by an act of terrorism?
Very early on in the investigation, we don't want to speculate too far and wide. We can go on a rabbit trail in a lot of these different investigations. But one of the things that are going to be very interesting, as the authorities begin to interview the two individuals, one from Italy, the other person from Austria, they really need to interview those two individuals and then ask them their recent travel history, and then look at how many times those names appear on the flight manifest. The authorities will be able to glean a lot of information just off of those pieces of investigation.
The passports, I think, were stolen at the same time in Thailand, and these two tickets were bought at the same time. So it seems like you want to find out where those passports have been. I'll tell you what, one of the most disturbing things I found in researching this story and just came to light is that Interpol has a database, a huge database of stolen or lost passports, but the airlines are not accessing them. So there's, when people were boarding that flight Saturday, there was no double check of these passports to see if there was anyone using a stolen or lost passport. That's amazing to me.
The Digital Interpol Alert Library, the Dial-A-Doc program, has been online for approximately a year now, and it's been put in place, and it's been a database that is collecting lost and stolen passports, approximately 39 million lost and stolen passports.
39 million.
So it's a tremendous resource available to the airlines. The fact that they're not utilizing it is really unnerving.
All right, so we have that. We have the stolen passports, but that's not the only strange thing here. The emergency beacon that's supposed to be set off, the locating beacon, at a point of impact when a plane goes down, just automatically happens. That hasn't sounded off. It makes you wonder what is going on here. What happened to that plane?
The sophistication that is put in place to planes in aviation these days, not to mention not just within the plane, but also from air traffic control, there's a lot of overlap and a lot of security procedures that are put in place. And the fact that this has evaded all aspects of our notification system, the beacon, as you just touched on, all of these different areas are just really up for the investigators, a tremendous challenge for them.
Because we've had other planes that have crashed and basically swallowed whole by the ocean, but that beacon gives an idea where the plane is, and that's where, when we finally find out what's happened, as I said, 48 hours in, we're not hearing anything about a signal. All right, I just want to ask you, is it possible, I know they say everything is on the table, is it possible the plane could have been hijacked and landed somewhere? Because there's also the thought that the pilot was turning the plane around, and no one knows why he was turning that plane around. So if you put that together with the beacon not being activated, maybe it didn't crash. Maybe they did land it somewhere.
If there's an aspect where terrorism is the issue, yes, the two passports are of concern. There's two passengers that used a stolen passport. The other thing, we have to go back to 9/11. A lot of the 9/11 terrorists used their own passports and boarded the flights with their own information. So the fact that there could be more than two individuals of suspicious nature has to be a part of the conversation and certainly part of the investigation.
All right, I know you're not part of the investigation, but as you look at this, what is it that you look at right now? Do you think this plane just accidentally crashed? Do you think terrorism is a part of this?
Again, not to over-speculate, Bob, but the fact that all of the warning signals are absent, the fact that there was no communication from the captain, the pilot of the aircraft, still a lot of very strange happenings that have happened here. I'm leaning towards some type of nefarious act.
And it happened just a few days or maybe a week after what's called the Chinese 9/11, that stabbing attack at the train station. And many of the passengers who were on board this plane were Chinese.
There are Al-Qaeda affiliates even in that region of the world. The Moro National Liberation Front is a closely aligned Al-Qaeda affiliate. You never know. There could be an organization that will take credit for this.
All right, Todd McGhee, thank you so much as we go through trying to figure out what happened to this plane. Thank you. Fascinating.